In today's video, I'm going to be switching it up and I'm going to be stepping out of my comfort zone to tell you guys the story about the day I almost died. This story takes me back to the day before my 7th birthday. Now, what does a kid who is too broke to have toys do? That's right, he plays with a fucking puddle. Basically, since I was broke as hell back then, the only thing I can play with were these puddles that would form in our driveway. What I would do is I would find the biggest puddle and I would drag my finger down from the bottom of the puddle to another puddle to create a stream. Fun, right? I would spend a lot of time lying on this driveway playing with these puddles, but today's puddle fingering session was, sadly enough, my last. While I was playing with these puddles, my dad came up to me and said that he was going to be backing up the truck to test drive it, and then I had to sit on the sidelines until he was on the road. His truck was pulled into the back garden because he was working on it. He was always working on that shitbox. Surprisingly enough, he only just recently got rid of that truck a couple years ago. That truck was like 24 years old at that point, and I'm not joking when I say that he sold that thing for a case of beer. I'm not joking, for a case of beer. But anyways, I obeyed him like the good child I was, and I went and sat on the sidelines. 5 minutes went by, and he still hadn't pulled the truck out, so I kept waiting. About 7 to 8 minutes went by, and I started to think to myself, maybe it wouldn't start, or he wasn't able to pull it out. About 7 to 8 minutes went by, and I started to think to myself, maybe it wouldn't start, so he wasn't able to pull it out, but I tell myself I'll wait a little longer and see. So at this point, it's been a total of about 15 minutes. So I think to myself, I'm just gonna go play with my puddle. So I walk over to my puddle, and as soon as my stomach touches the ground, everything goes dark. So I look up, and all I see is the underneath of a truck. Now, please remember, I was only 6, basically 7 at the time, so I was stupid. Stupid as hell. But we were all stupid at this age. Don't even try and lie to yourself. Try and think about anything you did at the age of 7 and tell me it wasn't dumb. I promise you it was. With that out of the way, I panicked and thought to myself, I need to get the hell out of here. You know, like what most people would do. So I tried to crawl out of the side section of the truck. Now remember, this truck is being backed up. It's moving. So halfway of me trying to crawl out, the wheel catches me and rolls over me. I immediately vomited out everything in my stomach except for blood, surprisingly. Now, one thing I never really understood is that almost immediately my neighbor was just there. Like, he just spawned in. It's like he was watching or something. Like, I'm telling you, basically as soon as the wheel got off me, he was there. But apparently he was actually the one who cleaned up all the puke. Like, come on. Round of applause. I only have one hand because I'm holding the microphone, so I'm going to snap. But round of applause for that neighbor, man. Seriously. Such a good neighbor. Now, I know a lot of people are going to start talking about how this is fake and there's no way I survived. And they'd be right. I'm a fucking ghost, dude. No, but seriously, somehow, some way, I was basically unscathed. But before anyone even knew about that, I was thrown in the back of the truck and my dad was literally speeding to the hospital. Like, fully running red lights and everything. I'm surprised we didn't just both end up dying on the way there. The funniest part about all this is the only thing I remember thinking about while we were on the way to the hospital was the fact that I wasn't in my booster seat and that I won the war. And what I mean by that is that I just hated that stupid fucking booster seat and I would refuse to sit in it, but every time I would have to, so I guess at least I was thinking positively, right? I ended up spending a good amount of time at the hospital because it was extremely hard to believe that there was nothing wrong with me. They did a numerous amount of tests on me. They did x-rays, ultrasounds, you name it. They literally did everything and somehow found nothing. Now, there's actually an extremely embarrassing story I could tell about another thing that happened during this hospital trip. Like, so embarrassing that I've never told anyone this story ever. But if you guys really enjoyed this video, I might consider telling it. But anyways, YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this video, so give it a shot. You'll never know if you like it or not if you don't give it a watch, so might as well, right?